Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're at in the world. It's afternoon where I'm at in the United States. So if you are a new visitor to my YouTube channel, these vlogs, welcome. Thank you for coming and spending some time with me. And stop by the comments and introduce yourself. And if you are a returning visitor to my vlog and one of my subscribers, I have 37 as of this recording these vlogs. That's fine. I don't mind. Hope to see you coming back. Thank you for coming back and staying with me. And again, stop by the comments, say hi. Welcome everybody. Let's start with that. So, continuing my series in my life as a rock fan, in the previous video, I ended by talking about my various challenges being a fan of REO Speedwagon online and websites and interactions with other fans that did not go well as a result of being online. So you'll have to watch that video to get caught up if you haven't already seen it. So I'm just going to keep going with the next chapter of my life as a rock fan, meaning rediscovering Rush and then discovering Facebook, which is the title. So as of October 2005, I was feeling burnt out and frustrated by struggles and challenges that I've been dealing with REO fans online. I was wanting something new to happen, new chapter of my life as a fan, just everything new. I want to just stop what was happening and start over, but didn't exactly know where to go with that. So I just kept doing what I was doing. My heart wasn't really into it anymore, but for lack of somewhere new to go, I just stuck it out. And then one day, this is a good example of how quickly things change in life and how if you have a gut instinct to do something, you should really follow up on it. One day I was just in between projects on my REO blogs and websites, and if you're a follower of the Christian faith, you'll know it is a still small voice. I'm not a Christian faith person, but I also would recognize it as a gut instinct, a whisper inside my heart. You don't know where it comes from, but you know you should take it seriously. And mine told me that day to Google the rock band Rush. Okay. So I just went in my browser window online, Googled rock Rush band Canada, search. And one of the first websites that came up, and again, this is where I know fate was starting to work in my favor, the way these circumstances started playing out so quickly. One of the first websites I discovered, I printed it out that day. It's called the National Midnight Star Mirror. And at this point, there's a lot of verbiage there that I'm going to be referencing in a second. I'm not going to read all of it, but you can pause the screen right now to read exactly what was written. But there's Amazon links on one side for R30, and then a Neil's book, A Work in Progress. Yeah, some Rush merch links from Amazon on one side. And the other side was different web pages for, the previous version of this was the National Midnight Star. That was the name of the website. These are links that went with that, an Amazon link. So it was when I printed it, it went out to 2 pages. So it continued on. There's a Rush biography called Contents Under Pressure, Amazon link on this corner, and then the verbiage continues, went right down the middle of the screen, and then the rest of the links for National Midnight Star are over here. So what got my attention first and foremost was the verbiage down the middle of the screen. As I started reading it, And these are messages from someone named Meg, who was a owner, had started the National Midnight Star. She says she ran it for upwards of 6 years. And then her follow-up message from someone named Jimmy, who was the former owner and manager of the National Midnight Star. So these two fans had started this website. They left these messages, and then the verbiage continued on from there, 1999 to 2005. To sum up, they were describing the tail end of a series of events that played out almost identical. I don't know the details of what happened to the National Midnight Star, but based on their very vivid descriptions, that's exactly what I went through. Exactly. I mean, it was so spooky how the events played out the same. The escalating series of conflicts. The band got involved. The band just put their foot down. Eventually, the Rush band member said, "No more." Everything played out, even down to the timeline of how things escalated, until finally people just gave up, and I waved the white flag, and I surrender, and they shut down National Midnight Star just to kill the conflict. But they still kept that small flicker of hope that maybe one day things would be different, and they created this website as a tribute to it. So Meg or Jimmy or anyone else who remembers the National Midnight Star, please especially leave a comment down below for me, because I know your story. I lived it myself. So you haven't been forgotten. All right. And so again, if you don't know my other videos, I keep notes printed out next to me so I keep myself on track. I flip the pages. Now, and right then and there, I mean, this was only a matter of 1 hour between the time I searched in my Rush Google search and I found that website. I'm like, oh, that's the only way that this could have happened. If I had not found the National Midnight Star Mirror that day, if that page had not had those narratives on it, the letters from Meg and Jimmy, the way they did, the way they told their story, between the two of them, the story was told such that I got it. Oh my, and somebody, so I'm not, and what it did for me personally, not just as a Rush fan, I wasn't a reborn Rush fan at that time, just on a personal note, I felt like this crazy ass rock and roll, rock star, rock fan freak show that I was just an unwilling part of. I just got dragged into it. I was a witness on the sidelines, but it affected me. I would go as far as to say it's my trauma, my unresolved trauma. Absolutely. I'm not the only one. Because the one thing that can drive you the craziest when you've been through something like that, something traumatic and that upsetting and that life-changing, is to feel like you are the only one that went through it. It's like, well, now how many other places am I going to see this kind of rock star, rock fan club, online weirdness happening exactly the way it happened to me? I now have had an experience that is so weird and so unusual. Nobody has ever been through it. I couldn't imagine. I'll probably have to spend the next 10 years of my life finding someone that has been through this the same way I have. Because the people that were involved in my situation, the REO Speedwagon and their fans, they weren't talking. They hit the dirt. They hit the dust. They flew. They were nowhere to be found. So I'm left all alone to put the pieces together and kind of, that sucked. But in order to be a fan again, I had to deal with my trauma. And this National Midnight Star Mirror, I can do this. It told my story, and it gave me the courage. That's a sign from the rock and roll gods right there as far as I was concerned. It's time to do this again. Get back up, dust your boots off, and yes, the trauma's still there, but whatever happens from here on out, I'm not alone. That was more than enough for me. I only wish that I had a link or somewhere I could email Meg and Jimmy to let them know. But I'm letting them know now, so hope they're watching. Comment below. Let me know you're here. So now that I felt safe and encouraged to move forward as a Rush fan, I started with rebuilding my Rush album collection for my teen fandom. And the 3 albums I had at that time were Permanent Waves, Fly By Night, Exit Stage Left. Okay. I don't want to forget somebody. Exit Stage Left, double live album. Single live album? Anyway, live album, Permanent Waves, Fly By Night, and the debut album. I had 4 albums, so I went and I found those albums on CD and got them. Did iTunes, one of the 2 things. And one of the most, this is my next show and tell item. I have everything stacked up next to me, next to the table here. So the most important thing that was the foundation of my Rush fandom as a young teenage 13-year-old, Exit Stage Left concert video. And now I have it on DVD, but I rented it every week from California Video in my hometown. I would sit and watch it and then have to turn it back in. I watched it voraciously over the weekend, and then I had to turn it back in the following Monday because you only got it for 3 days. I vowed one day to get my own copy, and I did. Yay. So, but I found it. This is the individual copy, but I found it through it was R30 X3 replay, I believe was the name it had. Exit Stage Left, and then another concert video they did in the 80s called A Show of Hands. The third one. Crap, I can't think of it. But it had Exit Stage Left, and that's all I needed. So I got that. That was one of the first things I got. And then I think the next thing I got was from the National Midnight Star Mirror. Showed R30. So I got that. And then the R30 Replay X3, which gave me Exit Stage Left. And then the albums. The last album I purchased as a young fan in 1981-82 was Signals. I didn't get anything after that, so that was my launching off point as an adult fan. Okay, and then the next big thing that I did while I'm gathering all my albums and merch and making up for lost time that way, the other thing that I had struggled with in the not so long ago REO days was not having a place to send fan mail to the band members. So I thought, well, let me get that squared away first thing, and that way if there is or isn't an address, I want to know either way. So I found the phone number for their management company in Toronto, SRO Anthem, and I called them. It's a local direct number, probably like a 2-minute phone bill, nothing, yeah. I just had one question, and they answered the phone, and I said, hi, I'm a Rush fan from the United States, and I just had one question. I'd like to write fan mail to the band members. Where can I send it? Is there an address for that sort of thing? A fan club? And a lovely lady named Gloria, and I'll never, because I asked her what her name was at the end of the call, and she told me, and I thanked her. Lovely woman named Gloria said, you can send them letters here. They get their fan mail here. And that, again, was something that I enjoyed with REO Speedwagon. I could send letters to their management until one day where I couldn't anymore. Not from anything I was doing wrong, but they merged with another management company, and the new management did not allow it, so I got my fan letters back, my fan mail. I said, okay, cool. Oh, wow, I was not expecting that. I really wasn't. Have it happen that quickly. So I was quite pleased. So I said, great, I will do that then. She said, and then I got bold and I said, do they read their fan mail? She says, yes, they do. And I said, they read their letters personally. I'm like, oh, well, I'm drumming my hands on the counter in front of me as I'm telling the story. Stop. I said, oh, no. Yes, I didn't say it like that, but I said, really? She said, yes, absolutely. And I said, okay, I'm not looking for a response. That's probably not realistic. I understand that, but I have an address to send letters to, and they read it personally from the management's mouth. Right hand to God. I could rely on them. Like, thank you, Gloria. I will do that. Thank you for your time. Well, then I asked her, what's your name? Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. Okay. Houston, we have fan mail. Private fan mail. I didn't have to go online. That's why that meant so much to me. I could start out with a private. I could write letters to my heart's content. The band members will read it. Fans will never see it. Ooh. You don't even want to know how much sigh of relief that was for me. A huge weight was off my shoulders. So that's what I did in beginning of 2000. This had to have been in, I think it was October. And when I found the National Midnight Star Mirror, or a note to myself up at the top of when I found it. And it has the website. Yeah, it has the printed date that I retrieved it up here in the corner as well. And it has the National Midnight Star up here. And then the web link was down here in the corner somewhere. http www.nmsmirror.com. Yay! So I did a lot of shopping on Amazon.com. All my Rush merch, CDs, DVDs, everything, catching up to signals and everything after that. And then I found Rush.com, their official website. And that's where I was able to learn about the band's history. Because before I was a kid, I was just buying albums. I didn't really know anything about them. But now I was able to learn about their history, their beginnings in Toronto with their then teenage manager Ray Daniels and all that. Was their current manager and still is. I know. I'm getting to the Rush retirement. I'm getting to that at the end of the video. Just bear with me. I call it doing my homework for a band when I'm learning about them for the first time. I only go to the official website for that information. If it's not on the official website, I do not trust it. Period. That's my policy. But this was Rush.com. And what I remember about the website is I discovered it in late 2005, very early 2006 was they had. The band members had each done a series of really funny animated videos. The sense of humor of the band really came through. And Geddy had videos about his dog Duke. Duke the dog was a Norwich Terrier. I forget what breed he was, but Duke was animated and talking about. And they were animated. They were cute. Alex had Big Al's Tiki Bar. And what did Neil have? I don't remember. Anyway, so I had fun with that and just exploring the website. They had music videos and yeah. So anyway, you get the idea. So then, after a few months, I decided, well, I need to take my first few baby steps back on the internet as a fan. So I created a Rush blog, a true blog, written blog. Vlogs, what I'm doing now are video logs, but these were just strictly, it didn't have videos, but I did posts, and then I shared my thoughts as a fan, and I could do direct hot links to websites, so I did those. And I had a photo gallery, just like Facebook does. And fans could also leave comments, so I thought, oh, okay, it's a small baby step, first little step out, so this is good. So you couldn't disable the comments, so I got several positive comments, in fact, and only one negative comment. And all the person was boring, period. I'm like, ha, you sucker. Moving on. I didn't sweat that at all. So I did the blog, and I just had my name, and I may have given it a title. I don't remember. But I kept the blog going a couple months, and then the blog format changed to where you had to have JavaScript to be able to create it and view it. Well, I didn't have whatever JavaScript was, I didn't have it on my computer. So no more blogs. So, I was stuck, or so I thought. And then I remembered that, oh yeah, I've known how to design websites, full sites for 4 years now, 3 or 4 years. And I had my REO Speedwagon fan websites, duh. And I'd had to cancel all those and whatever to keep the peace, but oh yeah, I'm a web designer, I'm a website creator. Oh, let's do that, shall we? Yes. So that thus begat GoddessInTheirGarden.com. That was my first Rush fan website, multiple pages. I started it sometime in 2006. I kept it going somewhere between 2008, 2009. And there were no chat pages, multiple pages, different topics on each page related to Rush, based on everything that I had learned on Rush.com. Then, of course, I found the YouTube videos of Rush fans and various Rush interviews and things like that. So it was just a kind of like a one-stop shop for all these different things I was discovering. But the one deliberate choice that I made as a webmaster, I'm the webmaster. And that was, yes, it was empowering that I'm running the store now. Nobody can fuck with me now. I decide who comes and who stays and who gets kicked out. But by the same token, I did put my email address. I put my email address on it. So I thought, well, if I get any nasty emails, delete. These people are not going to see the time of day. They're not going to get a free platform to cause drama on my website. The only thing I decided I'm not going to do is create a message boards or chat pages. No. Obviously, that was where I went wrong the first time. That made me vulnerable to all shitload kind of attacks. So no chat pages. I was not ready to deal with other fans yet. As far as I'm concerned, they can just stay away. Talk to the hand. Where's the hand? Talk to the hand. So I had no contact with fans. No fans could contact me. It was a perfect world. So on I went on with that for a few years. Quite happily, I might add. By 2009, however, I was feeling isolated. Then the loneliness was really starting to get to me. And I started to miss, I miss the old days with REO fans. My REO fans online, the fan club that I was a part of before all the shit started. And I really miss that. I want that back. I didn't have any, I talk with my hands. So out of frame, never mind. I only had one fan buddy with REO Speedwagon, my grade school buddy Hope. But with Rush, I was by myself. Me and everybody else in the school were fans at the time, my high school, but I didn't have any fan buddies, and so now I'm still on my own. But I think now I was ready to start making friends online, take it to the next step. So I started my first Facebook account. Now I dabbled in Facebook a couple of years earlier, but I didn't get it. I had everything I needed online. Goddess in Their Garden. I was fine. So Facebook was the only social media platform that I was aware of, so I went back to that, got my first account, signed up for it, screen name, profile photo, built it out, identified myself as a Rush fan. And it didn't take long before I started getting friend requests from other fans. And many of them are still my Facebook peeps to this day. Many came and went, as happens online, but the core group of them are still my people. And I will also say that my Rush peeps on Facebook, and I've told them this on more than one occasion, they know my story of how I became a Rush fan as an adult and rediscovered them online, and they were, and still are, I can't speak for all fans. I already know the National Midnight Star Mirror, what can go wrong, but I only cared about my corner of the universe online, and my Rush peeps have been my sanity saver, my my healing, my everything, because they were kind and emotionally well adjusted for all the things that could have gone wrong. I was okay. Now I'm going to go on Facebook. Now I'm going to have comments, and now I'm going to have interactions with fans. And oh my God, what's going to happen? You always have that dread in the back of your mind that, oh God, here we go again. But I gave it a chance. I gave my fellow Rush fans online a chance, and the few that sought me out, my tribe was good to me. So, again, now that once I had my Facebook tribe of fans, my peeps, I continued adding to my Rush music library. Now I discovered books had been written back in this mirror. There was this book called Contents Under Pressure by Martin Popoff. He was a British music journalist that had written their biography, authorized by the band, and it said so on the cover. Authorized, big yellow letters, otherwise I would not have gotten it. So I learned the difference between authorized websites, authorized books, and merchant unauthorized. So I only got it if it was promoted on Rush.com or Rush's Facebook page, which is just Rush. Just type in Rush, here they come. So then I discovered books, especially Neil's book Roadshow. Neil is quite the prolific author, travel books, and this is the one that it's my Bible. I've paper clipped it. I've got highlights in the margin, and yep, I've got yellow highlights and margin notes, like my Rush Bible, if you will. Close it. Drummer of the band wrote it. It can be trusted. Got to know Neil in a whole new way through this book. I always thought, as most fans do, he's standoffish. He doesn't like talking with fans. He's bah, but he's not. He's shy. He just doesn't like the meet and greets and in your face and bah. He lets Alex and Getty do all that. He allowed Alex and Getty to do all that for him. But Roadshow, yep. But I was discovering, anyway, back to my story, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I discovered all their back catalog, meaning all the albums that they did prior to, after Signals. But the albums after that were, for me, the back catalog. These were new albums for me. Hold Your Fire, Grace Under Pressure, Counterparts, All the World's a Stage, all those albums were new to me. So we went back to Amazon and just kept shopping. Got everything on CD at first, and then eventually I found iTunes. Got my first iPod. 8 whole gigabytes. Yay! Okay, show and tell. Yep. The show and tell, I did Roadshow. I just talked about that. Then, this is kind of the most current, latest, and greatest stash of merch that I have. This. There's no... Okay, Backstage Secrets Rush. It is a... Whoa. Gonna dump it on the floor. No, I'm not. It's got... One DVD. There's 2 DVDs. I had to put labels on them because they were indistinguishable. It's got the directory on the back or whatever. But I found this on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to get this. It's still available for sale on Amazon, and there's another link, but I'll put that in the description. But especially, you don't have to be a hardcore backstage tech nerd to get into this. I learned an assload of stuff from this. This is where I learned everything I now know about in my brain, but haven't actually done it yet. Every department on a rock tour, all areas of production. It shows them at work, interviews with band members, and mostly it's about the crew. Band members, 3 band members do make periodic interview appearances, but not that. It's mostly about the crew. All I can say is, get it. If you don't already know about it, you gotta get it. And I found it on YouTube originally, as a 10 video, I think 10-minute videos added up to about an hour. So I thought when I ordered the DVD, it's only going to be 1 hour. No. This is almost 4 hours worth of DVDs. 4-hour runtime. So I got through the first DVD. And then, oh, that's it. That's all that I saw on YouTube. I didn't realize there was a second disc that I'd never seen. Okay. Then they came out with their Beyond the Lighted Stage, which is their autobiographical, movie documentary combo. This was in... Holy crap, I can't remember the date and the... Uh-oh. But it came with... Don't drop it on the floor, dear. Had a little cardboard storage thingy in there. Little booklet. Oh, yeah, okay. And the 2 DVDs are tucked in. There's Neil. Oh, this is backwards. Neil and this scene over here. These are the 2 DVDs on the end of the little booklet that went with it. Just photos. What's there? Photos of the band, and then these DVD credits. Like album credits on vinyl records. We got that in the back. Yep. So again, I'm not going to put all that together. But again, Amazon link in the description below. And most recently, this one I do know the publication date of. Remember how Neil Peart had already written 90 different autobiographical books about his travels, and well, then our illustrious lead singer Geddy Lee wrote himself an autobiography, and it was really exciting when he released, when he announced it that it was about to be published. His wife Nancy took that photo on the front. He said, photo on the back, yay, and paperback book, and then the flap, of course, as books. Oh wait, whoa. And then the inside artwork is all after show guest passes and concert tickets and gig posters and this one I read through it once when I got it. It's still mint condition. And then I got it on Apple eBooks, iBook, on digital copy, and then I'm looking for... I remember the publication date on this one. Well, oh, never mind. Front cover photograph, copyright 1970, Nancy Young, his wife. Never mind. Oh my god. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Good stuff. Okay. Getty's book. Flipping the page of my notes. Oh, my last show and tell. I did manage to make it to only one Rush show. Into one Rush show in 2008. My one and only. Well, I'd already felt like I'd been to a million live shows with DVDs and YouTube videos. Anyway, so Amway Arena, April 15th, 2008. It's in the kind of in the nosebleed section. The stage looked like it was this big. But I had fun with other fans, and I'd forgotten, having been to 17 different REO Speedwagon shows in different states for me. I traveled out of state for most of them. I forgot what work it was to travel to a show. Ooh, it's exhausting. I did the one show in Amway. It was called Amway Arena. First it was the Orlando Arena, then Amway Arena, then it's been changed names and ownerships, corporate ownerships a couple times, and bleh. All right, so one show. So if you were at the April 15th show in Orlando Arena, comments. Thoughts about, oh yes, so thoughts about Neil's death and future, getting Alex retiring. Yep, when we found out about Rush retiring in 2015, nobody wanted to believe it, of course, and I didn't want to believe it. But I thought if they've earned it, if anybody's earned it, they have. So I'm not one to get, they just keep touring, suck it up and keep touring. No, I believe that if they've been around that damn long, they've earned it. They want to spend time with their families. And usually bands, when they say they're retiring from touring, but they're still going to be musicians. They will find other projects to work on. So I wasn't really concerned about that. But still, there's always fans that were always holding, because Neil Peart, for example, was the one that always, every 10 years or so, I'm really retiring, that's it. He had a wife and a young daughter at the time, and he got remarried in 2002, 2003. And again, he had an even younger daughter when they officially did retire. So I knew that Neil, and he had health problems from being on the drums all those years, and his doctors had told him, if you continue to drum at that level, because he was, as we all know, the professor, the monster on the drums, if you keep drumming at this level, you're going to do permanent damage to yourself. So, and he was ready to be retired from the road completely and be a husband and a daughter to his new wife. His new wife was named Carrie Nuttall. His new daughter was named Olivia. And so he was ready to be a stay-at-home dad. And getting Alex, I don't think they were as ready to stop touring, so they were took them a few years to figure out what to do with themselves. And as of this filming of this video in 2025, they figured it out. Al's got a new band, Envy of None, and Getty's written a few more books and traveling the world with his wife Nancy, so they're doing their thing. What nobody expected, however, at least from the fans, the public standpoint, was that Neil would die we got the news online on January 7th, 2020, right a couple months before the COVID quarantine kicked in. We didn't know about that was coming either. But he had died a couple days before, and he'd been sick with a glioblastoma, as a brain tumor, for several years, and the band, of course, and the management all knew about it. He swore everybody to secrecy, and they kept his secret. They did. Until I looked at my Facebook news feed one day, and I saw Neil Peart of Rush dead at age, whatever his age was in 2020. I can't do the math right now. What? Excuse me? And by then I was used to seeing the rock star death notices on Facebook, and it almost makes me want to stop looking at my Facebook newsfeed every day, but I was not expecting to see his name included in that roster, and it was, and that's later on we found out what it was from, glioblastoma, and he'd been sick for three and a half years, struggling with it, and to this day we don't know if I'm sure he may not have had chemo and radiation. We don't know what his treatment plan was, if any. None of our business, really, but the point is he had his time with his wife and daughter at home, being a house husband and a house father, exactly what he wanted. So he was happy. So now, okay, that could be a separate blog in and of itself, Neil's death and the future. Getting Al, as I said, have found their footing and are moving on. And Rush.com is still up, and of course fans are always approaching them in interviews. I watch interviews with both Alex and Getty online. I follow Getty on Instagram, Getty Images. I'll link below in the comments, and Al, the real Lurks, on Instagram as well. So I keep up with them that way, and the Rush legacy is not forgotten. They're not abandoning it. Is well represented every single day. Neil is remembered every single day. His motorcycle partner and head of Rush's security, Michael Mossbach, is on Instagram, Praetorian Animus. Link below. Neil mentions Michael prominently in Roadshow, so that's cool. And so I have my online people that I can follow and keep up with things. So the future is, oh no, now is not a good time to get itchy nose. I can't do post-production editing right now, so. Okay, it's gone now. So, the future, as far as I'm concerned as a Rush fan, is looking good. Wish Neil was still here to be a part of it, but even if he had survived, Rush would still be different. The Rush as we knew it as a band, the three-piece, is gone, but they're all moving forward, and Neil would want it that way. That much I can pretty much guarantee. So, anyway. So I will put, how am I doing on runtime? 41 minutes. Believe me, that is conservative for me for storytelling. I don't keep written notes on hand. None of this. This is for the video, to keep the video under a reasonable length, but it's a start. It's a starting point. Anyway, you know where the comments are. Talk to me. Tell me what you're thinking. So I'm going to go. I have some Photoshop work to do and some uploading on YouTube. So this should be out another hour or two. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.